According to Wikipedia, an aircraft is a machine that is able to fly by gaining support from the air or in general the atmosphere of a planet. The first aerial device was a model helicopter built by Sir George Cayley in the 18th century. Later on, Cayley also built a model glider, a kite, mounted on a stick with a movable tail, which he tested on a 10-year-old boy aboard. It, however, only carried the boy for one short flight. Almost 100 years later, precisely on the 17th of December 1903, two brothers named Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright, who were both bicycle repairers, flew at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. This flight was recorded as the first sustained and controlled heavier-than-air powered flight.
Welcome back. What we just saw there was the milestone segment on the show, and on today's episode we featured aircraft. Tunbosun, it's been a year of, in quote now, sad tales for some aeroplanes. The Malaysian airline that went missing, the Air Asia that went missing, but the wreckage has been found at the depths of the sea, and bodies are being rescued. But it's still it was a very good development from Sir George Cayley, the Wright brothers, and every other person who put something into making aeroplanes or any sort of aircraft.
I can't imagine if you didn't have something called an aeroplane.
Yeah.
How you wanted to go to the Bahamas?
Your
dreams or your reality?
Those days, Moses and co they trek. So
I can't imagine from here to there.
We'll trek, no problem.
Some people, they have what do they call it now? Friday in America,
exactly.
Saturday in
chilling in London, Dubai,
and things like that. How would they have been? So
thank God for playing.
I know they're dead now and they cannot hear us, but really, it's still a very big thank you to
Quick
them.
question: how was the first time you got into a plane? How was your reaction? Were you scared?
Was I scared? What I was shy to ask was, excuse me, how the belts?
Come on,
I didn't want them to know I was the first time.
That was quite easy.
But right now, whenever I guess it, it's like, it's a normal thing.
It's as if you're entering priority to...
To where? To NTA, right? Anyway, it's time for us to introduce the business intelligence segment, and today we're talking about capital. Remember that I said earlier on that most people, they will tell you, I have an idea, I have this inspiration, but how do I start? How do I go about it? And so many how do I? Exactly.
Never ends.
It never ends. We have with us today is Mr. Abraham Annam. Mr. Abraham Annam is a serial entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, not
the other one.
Not the other one. It's a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, how was your Christmas?
Very restful.
Restful.
Yes.
I can imagine from the point of view of an entrepreneur, they're always very busy. So Christmas was restful.
Yeah, very restful.
Okay, and 2015, how is it going to be?
I expect 2015 to be much more glorious.
Okay.
We're looking up to 2015 with great expectations.
Great expectations.
Yes.
And many more businesses to start.
Definitely. More milestones to accomplish.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a businessman, what will you aspire? What would be aspirations? It is that you want to keep doing well at every step and every turn.
Okay. But just before we go on this next break, can you just tell us, for the benefit of our viewers, for the layman, what is capital in business, the definition of capital in business?
Let me say that capital is not money. I mean, this is where the mistake is made. We think capital is money. No. It's an asset, but then it is what you call the intangible assets. Before you talk of, you reduce capital to money, on the list of your need for a successful business, money probably occupies the last position. So what you need is attitude. Is the first capital you need. Attitude to face every obstacle. And as the obstacle comes, you are not shaken by it.
As the
That
obstacle
is
comes.
the first capital
that's
you
the
need.
first definition.
Yes, of capital.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a question now, but it's not going to be relating to capital.
Okay.
I want to ask you, who is a serial entrepreneur?
By that, it means that you've tried your hands on successive business and have left a mark on the sands of time.
Yeah.
In other words, you've come from a backlog of failure before you begin to enjoy what you call success. You've come from a backlog of disappointments before you begin to enjoy what the world may call success. So you begin to build on your failures and transform your failures to success. It is then that you're called a serial entrepreneur.
Okay. We're coming back,
Yeah.
and the topic is still capital, and the segment is still business intelligence. It's time for us to go for this break that is based on capital business intelligence. We'll be right back. Please stay.
Wanna be in the know? Tune to the show. It's called a new day now in your zone. Touching the work and career. Ends up in the play zone. Take luck to entertain. Inspire to make you feel at home. And it's all about you. It's all about you. New day. It's the new day. It's the new day. New day. It's a new day.
Do not deface public property. Do the right thing. Let's change the way we think.
Success in business cannot simply be celebrated as an event. It is worked and prepared for through a series of planning and operational activities. I'm going to mention 4 key elements you need to get right before you become too dizzy dreaming about the millions and lifestyle that you intend that your business will bring you. I have just read from page 99 of my book, Business Intelligence, Entrepreneurship Development and Business Building Techniques. I'll take the first one, raising of capital and managing of capital. Capital is the bloodline of every business. Before you set out in a business or even in expanding an existing business, you need to be sure in your mind how much you need, where you're going to raise the capital from, how you're going to manage it, especially if you are borrowing, how you will also repay. What do you need money for in a business? Everybody knows, whether you are in a production business or a service business, you need money to run and manage not just production and services, but also making sure that you are keeping people who are working with you happy. So, when it comes to capital, key things to look at. Have you developed what I call financial intelligence? It has to do with understanding, knowing, and managing of money. Do you have the right budgets? Are you even sticking with your budgets? Are you working within a business plan? So capital is very important. If perhaps it's not your strong area, I will advise that you look for someone you can bring on board, a coach, a manager, a mentor, somebody that can help you with your finances. Remember, I talked about 4 areas. The first one, in the axis of business success, is capital. I'll talk about the other 3 that make up the axis of business success subsequently.
Alright, welcome back. We still have Mr. Annam in the studio with us. We just watched a clip from Mr. Emmanuel there talking about capital, the axis of capital. And this brings me to my next question. How many types of capital do we have?
There are different categories of capital.
Yeah.
We have social capital, for instance.
Yeah, definitely.
You have personal capital that you generate on your own. You may source for capital for your business through financial institutions, through individuals. You may draw capital from your environment. You may draw capital from various sources.
Okay.
But like I said initially, when you begin to categorize the capital people have in mind usually is the money. That money.
Yeah.
If it takes money to build business, there are lots of people who have money. But doesn't mean that with money you can build a business. If it took money to build business, probably would have probably built a greater nation than we are today. So it goes to show that it takes more than money.
To build a business.
I tell people, you want money? The first thing, go to a private investor, go to a bank, and you want the money, that capital. Yes, we have the money, but they're looking for something else. They're looking for your ability to deliver, what you call the intangibles. They're looking for boldness. They're looking for focus.
Yeah.
They're looking for an asset that you have that is more than money. Because money is very secondary in business.
It's very secondary in business.
Yes, you need money. That money. But if you don't have the intrinsic money, that value that
You want to
that
add.
defines you, where people say you are a man of integrity, sorry, who is going to entrust their money to you?
Okay, so that means even when you want to get the money and things like that, but then you need to begin to build on your integrity
Build
so
on
that you
integrity.
have the access to it.
Build on your personality. You know, some people have a way of saying it. They say, package yourself. There is something that makes you sellable. Before, when you see a bold man who comes to you and say, I can sell this thing. We all know the story. I mean, we've heard the story of the man who went to the land of Eskimo.
Yeah.
And when he got there, he said, nobody wears shoes here, and the place is so cold, please send me back. I don't think I can sell any shoes here. They sent him back.
Meanwhile,
Somebody else got there.
and got the shoe.
When he saw it, he said, wow, divert all the production to me. Because here, there are people that will buy the shoes.
Yeah.
So what was the difference? So what was the difference? Call it what you want. But that man had strength of character. And this is what gets a business going. And like I keep telling people who come to me for advice, I say, look, it is not money you need. Go and build your character.
First.
Okay.
Then
Once that is put in place, you will see this money will come. And you find that on the list, like I always say,
Yeah.
make your list. you'll find at the end of the day, those who invest in you will look at whether this man possesses the character that we can invest on.
Okay. Talking about investment, there are some people who want to start up businesses, large scale, medium, or on the low scale, small, medium businesses. But yes, one of the hitches they have is, is monetary capital now, and some of them are stuck. Do I go to a bank to get a loan, or do I, look up for a venture capitalist? Now, what will you tell that man? What kind of businesses do venture capitalists invest in, and what kind of banks you can get, any business can get a loan from bank, but which is more favorable, a venture capitalist or a bank?
Look, it depends on where your strength lies.
Yeah.
If it will be favorable to you to get your facility from a bank, I tell you, do so. If it's for a venture capitalist, I tell you, do so. But then there might be little differences here and there. In most cases, the venture capitalist may not ask you the kind of collateral the banks will ask. The banks will ask for collateral because we've been there. I've been through that part myself. So these are some of the things that I know very, very well. There are things, the venture capitalists, you may get less than one digit interest on money given to you. But with the banks, we all know that, look, we're talking of 24%. And the first question will be, how do you expect to pay this back? At 24%.
Yeah.
But before I will get loan from the bank, like Dr. Emevery just said, find out how you're going to pay back. You must work out your payback system. You must work it out. You see, because business is not run on charity.
No.
The man who is investing on you expects returns. And if he does not get returns on his interest, on his investment, it is bad business for him.
Exactly.
So, the first thing is, how are you going to pay me back? And I believe that if you don't ask that question, you are a bad venture capitalist and you must be a bad banker. There are people who get 24% from the bank. They still pay back without sweat and without much constraints. But in most cases, like we know, despite the rigidity of the bank's system, we also discovered that a number of people
do not pay back.
They never intended to pay back. Yes, I know experience. A number of people never intended to pay back. So what happens? They run into problems. Because you can negotiate with the banks and say, look, I want to start paying within a year. You negotiate with the bank.
Okay.
And these are things you work out. The banks are human beings. They want to make profit. The longer they keep you, the better for them. No matter how little your business is, you see, the banks look into the future. They look at the fact that if this man that is making me earn this little, and I can get multiples of them, they calculate into the future.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's always a possibility that you can borrow from the venture capitalist or from the bank, but then work out how you're going to pay back.
Okay. And I know that sometimes some people will start a business and they have the capital and things like that. Now, I want you briefly, to educate entrepreneurs that how do you differentiate your capital from the profit and things like that? Because some people just mix everything together and eventually
there's even working capital.
Look, what you need to educate yourself in that aspect. If not, get an accounting partner or get an accounting consultant who works that out for you.
Okay.
Like when I started out, I knew my weakness. So what did I do? I got two people to join me.
Okay.
One was a seasoned accountant and an auditor, and my other partner was what they called a technical person. Now I was rather I'm rather very impulsive. I have a business idea, I just go for it. I did not take it to my partners. My financial partner looks at it, breaks it all down to figures and numbers.
Okay.
So you need an accounting partner.
Okay.
You need that economic intelligence.
Good.
Without an accounting intelligence, you can't go far in business. If you don't have that gift, if you don't have the understanding or the knowledge, look for someone else that partners with you.
Okay.
And you see, these are things, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. If I want success, I need to build on my capacity.
Okay.
Recognize my capacity and also recognize my limits.
Okay.
So I look for someone to help me fill in wherever I have my limitations.
Yeah, I came across an entrepreneur, and and he said that for him, what he does is that he's on salary. So even though he owns the business,
Yeah,
he
he
runs
pays
it,
himself a
he
salary.
pays himself a salary, so that he knows that even before the end of the month, if he spends it, he's not going back into to dip the hand into it. Do we have any Twitter question?
Oh yeah,
before
we have
go?
this one coming from Facebook, and it says that what is the most important role of capital in business? His name is Sida.
Now, like I said initially, you have social capital, which is intangible. You have capital, the one they call money. Let's make it clear. Before a bank, a venture capitalist, anyone, even you yourself, you give your money. Before you invest it in anyone,
Yes.
you want to know if the person can pay back.
Okay.
Now, how would you know? How would I know if the man comes to me and sells his business ideas to me and begins to tell me, look, I've been in this business for long, and the man demonstrates focus? Number one thing is focus. What I mean is focus, I mean this. It tells you, look, I've been in this business for the past 10 years. I know the competition. I understand the industry.
Yeah.
Now you would get, that man will give you will get his attention.
Okay.
And he will give his attention. But if somebody comes to me and say, I've done this business, I've done that business.
Oh yeah.
But there's nothing.
What you see is a master. What do you call it? You call it jack of all trades,
Master of
none.
I think I like that. Jack of all trades.
Let me see how you are going to invest in that person.
Anyway.
It's not.
Okay, so from your last word, I would say that according to Mr. Abraham Annam, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. I think that's going to be a good way to end this program for today, and to even end this edition. To end the program for the year.
Exactly.
Oh, it's been wonderful doing this with you all through. We started sometime in October or November, and really, it's been wonderful doing it with you. We believe that by the grace of God, we'll also do it with you again in 2015 and beyond. That is to remind you that we'll be here on the 1st of January 2015. It's a beautiful way of starting the new year.
Exactly. Started the new year with New Day on NTA2 Channel 5.
The voice of that man that says it, the voice of the new generation. How does it say?
I'll teach you.
My name is Tunbosun Gilbert, and I'm going to see you in the year 2015. Mr. Abraham, do have yourself a very beautiful 2015.
Thank you very much.
Good.
All right. And from Ivan Drugan, have a fantastic end to the year.